Morning, everyone. I'm Christine Smith. I'm so relaxed after that meditation. I'm not sure I can. I'll do this. All right. Waking up. All right. I think I know almost everyone in this room. I've already said this to the technology people. My husband was a little under the weather. He's not here. His job was to make sure that everyone could hear me. So if I get to a point where you can't hear me, just go like this or whatever you feel you need to do. Chuck and I came to the Unitarian Universalist religion the way many people did. We were both, we started out elsewhere. He was Methodist, I was Protestant. After we got married, we were sort of unchurched until we moved to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Our 5-year-old son, then 5, Brian, went to school, came home and said, "So, where do we go to church?" Okay, we said, maybe we better look around. We tried the Presbyterian church. I could not do what they wanted me to do, signing in blood, these things I believed that I didn't believe. I saw a little ad in the newspaper talking about, do you believe in the inherent worth of every person? And I said, Chuck, there might be a place for us. So in 1978, we found the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Lehigh Valley on Leckawecki Avenue, a little country church. And we have been Unitarians, and I say Unitarian, I can't do the long thing, since then. And we stay with it through thick and thin, and it's been an important part of our life. That's why I was able to put together a few thoughts for today. We are having our new member ceremony, and I thought it would be a nice time to talk about the joys of membership. I'm commenting. There will be some photos, some vignettes. But first, I would like to ask each of you to think about what would be on your list of joys of membership. Just give it some thought for a minute. Okay, so when my presentation is over, let's see how many of yours agree with mine. So first, and we can have the next slide, there he goes, and most obviously, this is a place where you belong. Yes, you join by learning about our principles and signing the membership book, but you become a part of a living, breathing entity. Each of us finds our own place. We help, we are helped, we teach, we learn, we play, we work, but most importantly, we belong. And we feel this each time we walk into this place. But UU Tampa is not a cocoon of safety, and sometimes the world slams us and our sense of security is shattered. And it is exactly at those times when we seek not joy exactly, but reassurance that we can go on. How many of you remember the horrific event in 1978 when, in what he termed revolutionary suicide, cult leader Jim Jones planned and orchestrated a mass murder-suicide in his remote jungle commune at Jonestown, Guyana? Most people here do remember it. He knew he had been exposed as a charlatan and a murderer, and he convinced 900 of his followers, still chokes me up, 1/3 of whom were children, to drink poison Kool-Aid and commit suicide together. It seemed so senseless, so against everything I thought about the value of life and religion that I struggled to deal with it. But in that little country UU church in Bethlehem, Our minister helped us deal with this inhumanity and helped heal our broken hearts. I'll get it together. Okay, I will get it together. Alas, that tragedy was not an isolated event. 9/11 took place and took our horror to new heights, and mass murders such as the one nearby at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando continued the trail of tears around us. And when we thought we had seen it all and experienced it all, COVID struck. And closer to home, the circle of life brings loss to this and other churches routinely. My point here, which I barely got through, is that aren't we lucky that we have our church to help us make sense of this crazy world and to ease our hearts and souls enough that we can go on. And that was the hard part for me. Get it together now. And go on we must. We do it in our own way, and we do good. Our principles suggest that we should work to make a better world, but we don't really need that urging. Our participation in hope is a testament to our commitment to making a better life for many in our community. Our commitment to pride activities and our stand against racism are unwavering. What we do as a church includes our angel tree at Christmas, tutoring at local schools, donating clothes for needy children, and so on. Moreover, although we are financially well run and we are able to self-fund ourselves, we are by no means a wealthy church with a large endowment. Nonetheless, every month we donate one Sunday's plate to a needy group. And what we do as individuals would be a list too long to mention here. To me, being able to help so many in this way makes me proud and brings me pure joy. I hope you feel the same way. I'm going to have a drink now. Just water. Just water. Okay. Fortunately, we're just as good at making our own family fun and fellowship. Between potlucks and game nights, holiday parties, picnics, hot fudge sundaes, the Valentine's Day party pictured on the slide, and coffee time every Sunday, being part of this community brings joy to all of us. I had so many pictures to choose from. Service auction dinners, craft parties, quilting, teas, brunches. It was wonderful to see all the smiling faces. I need it, I count on it, and it brings me joy. Somewhere, while doing all this good and having all this fun, we strive to grow as individuals and as a congregation. In joining this church, you accept that we operate by covenant to find common ground and to treat each other with respect. We have decisions to make, with an enterprise to run, grounds to keep up, employees to hire, services to hold, and people to keep safe. And we have to work hard at doing it all effectively and civilly at the same time. Sometimes we all have to learn new things. We have to educate ourselves, work at compromising, be respectful of others' views and actions, even embrace change when it would be easier to keep the status quo. Like so many of us, I am still a work in progress, learning about myself and accepting change. A few years ago, a new minister arrived, and given the task of growing and, let's say, improving our congregation, that minister implemented some new programs. One was a lay ministry program. I was totally skeptical that we needed this or that it could work, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to join that training and see if that program has any value at all. I'm not going to use the word infiltrate, because that wouldn't be right. But now as I look back, that is how my thought process seemed. I'm sure you can all guess how this story ends. It turned out to be one of the most valuable programs I've been involved in at a UU church. The training was deep and worthwhile, and I learned so much from it. I grew and improved as a person, and I honestly believe that the church member I was assigned to for a year valued and benefited from the time we spent together. You know, it's that change thing. We all say we want it until it means we personally have to change. I keep being reminded that if we can truly be open to change and can listen to other people's ideas, we just may learn from it. I certainly did. We should never forget that saying, evolve or die. Sorry. And what could be the next joy? The effect that music has on us is personal, but for me, music restores my soul. And if you feel that way too, a UU church is a good place to be. From our many musical activities, choir, Monday night music, I don't know how to say that, M-U-U-S-I, music, drum circle, and while I couldn't go last Friday night, we even had karaoke. I hope it was okay. I grew up with the Presbyterian hymns and loved so many of them. Some have morphed into UU hymns with updated words. But whoa, aren't we lucky to have so many up-to-date songs and hymns? I mean, what other church has songs like Let It Be a Dance, Love Will Guide Us, Blue Boat Home, and How Can I Keep From Singing? And it's not one of our hymns today, but let me just read the words from the first verse of number 354. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die. We dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone, but most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. And sharing is what I'm doing today. Whitney Houston's song, The Greatest Love of All, starts with, I won't sing it. I could, right, but I won't. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. At UU Tampa, we cherish and honor our children, whether we have 5 or 15 on any given Sunday. It's so nice to see a little baby here, Stevie's kids, a little child right there in the congregation today, and the new families with children. Sharing our faith with the coming generations is not just a joy, but is also a responsibility. In the slide, I may have taken a little personal liberty. That one slide is the naming ceremony for that 5-year-old, Brian, and his children were being named in this church by Doak. Okay, did you know that according to a 2014 Pew Research study, UUs are the second most educated religious group in the U.S. Hindu is the only group ahead of us, and Judaism is right behind us. What that means for me is that my fellow UUs have the capacity to question and search and find the truth. So are we smart? Yes, apparently. But are we always wise? Well, most of the time. We try at that. When I talked at the beginning about belonging and feeling comfortable, among other things, I was referring to the fact that I can come to church and say to someone, you know, I just read an interesting article in the New York Times, and not be interrupted with, wait, you mean you read that communist rag? Or that left-wing propaganda? No, someone here would say, I read that too, and it really made me think. Over the years, I have been moved and challenged and heartbroken and inspired by sermons at my UU church. No pablum here, no platitudes. Does everyone know what pablum is, or is that another anachronism? Sounds like most people do. True questioning of character, of morality, of right and wrong, of evil and good, of action and inaction. Sometimes it makes me happy, sometimes it pulls at my heartstrings, but I am usually guaranteed to come away being a better person. That is why I come to this church and what I get in return. A few years ago, a funny thing happened. I meant to change that to curious. A curious thing happened. Linda in the office sent out a request on our Google mailing list that someone who had just moved to town and hadn't joined the church yet needed a ride getting to and from minor surgery. The lady said the friend who was supposed to drive her had gone out of town or something. I happened to be free on that day and lived close to her and said I would do it. We connected. I picked her up at her townhouse in Land O'Lakes, drove her to the surgical center on Fletcher. A lot of us have been there. I went in with her to give them my phone number since they insist you have someone to drive you, and then I picked her up when she was done. On the way home, she offered to pay me for the gas, and I said, no way, not a problem at all. Happy to help. I walked her to her door, and when I came back, there was a $20 bill on the seat. I tell this story because in our church, we take care of our people. And in this case, it was extended to someone we didn't even know, but somehow she knew to call us. I never saw that woman at church. I have no idea why she decided to call us. But can you imagine being new in a town and not even knowing anyone to drive you to your surgery? I don't feel taken advantage of. I'm just glad she called us. I don't need to review the many ways we take care of each other, the ways we love each other, the ways we sustain each other. I have many stories, and I'm sure each of you has many that you can share. It's just who we are and who we will always be. Our opening words began, there is only one reason for joining a UU church. That is to support it. Did you all hear that, or did that? That's what it said. But I need to add to that. For me, there's another essential reason. I need a spiritual home, a beloved community. Where we are right now is my church home, my spiritual home. To me, that is the greatest of these joys of membership. Are the things I've talked about joys, responsibilities, benefits, or all three? Call them what you will, but each of us knows why we're here. It's why I joined this church in 2011 and why I'm so pleased to be welcoming other new members today. So now if Kim and Candy would join me in our new member ceremony.